My name is Sadhana Singh, and my life has been defined by choices, the ones made for me and the ones I made for myself. In 1999, when I was 13 years old, my parents made two choices. One was to leave our home country, Guyana, and two was to settle in the state of Georgia in the southeast US. I attended high school in Georgia and I chose to be a good student. I knew it wasn't likely that I would get to go to college right after high school like my friends would, but I was hoping it would happen for me soon, so I wanted to be prepared for it. I graduated in 2005 with honors, and I waited. I waited for the government to pass some legislation to help undocumented immigrants. I waited for a chance to go to college. I waited for some salvation, to know when I was going to be able to pursue my goals and my dreams. I ended up waiting close to 10 years. Where we lived in Georgia, it was a very quiet and isolated life. I was not open about my status with anyone. My brother and my parents were the only other undocumented people that I knew. I worked at a full-time job for those 10 years after high school, but I didn't have the ability to drive. I didn't have a social life. And I didn't know when I was going to be freed from the chains of my status. There were some really dark moments, a lot of angst and depression. But I had a drive in me. I would tell myself that I was meant for more than this. No situation is permanent, and someday things were going to change for me. But I had to also go out and make some changes for myself. So while I stayed at home a lot and watched a lot of movies and TV, I also wrote the editor of a local Atlanta magazine and I asked if I could write for their entertainment column. I volunteered through my job to work with kids in the community, and I would say yes to travel assignments that would take me all around Georgia, the Carolinas, Florida, places I didn't have to fly to. So I was broadening my outlook on the world, even though it wasn't as big as I wanted it to be yet. In 2012, I made the choice to immediately apply for DACA as soon as I saw President Obama announce it on TV. 2 years later, I made the choice to apply for a scholarship that my friend heard about on the radio. I was always looking for ways to propel myself, and I was always waiting for that change. TheDream.Us was it for me. I received the scholarship award in 2014, and I made the choice to leave my family in Georgia and move to Washington, D.C. to go to school there. As you can imagine, the world opened up even bigger for me. After learning that I was a dreamer and part of this larger movement, I became an activist, but in a different way. I didn't go to protests or participate in marches, but I used my voice every day. I didn't want to keep hiding in the shadows like I had done for so many years before. So I would do speeches and press conferences, I would do TV interviews, write op-eds for newspapers, and I even gave a TEDx talk on my journey so far. At college, I was 10 years older than everyone else, but I found that I had a lot of common ground with the dreamers in my cohort. We formed a Dreamers Club at Trinity Washington University, which I led for 4 years. And our mission became about educating our campus about what life was like for undocumented immigrants, the people that were sitting right next to you in your classroom. Again, I chose to be a good student, and I chose to do 7 internships. There is value in what you can learn outside the classroom, like networking and building professional skills. My goal was to get a job right after graduation. So I would go online and look at job sites and apply for internships. I would tell everyone I knew that I was looking for a job or an internship, especially a paid one. And I would be connected to people and companies, and I would get to do these amazing opportunities and have some great learning experiences. I got to work for a labor rights organization, a DC news magazine, an international trade council, and the Discovery Channel. This hustle really paid off. One of the internships I did in 2015 was with TheDream.Us, which led me to the full-time job that I have right now. When I graduated in 2018, I was 32 years old and it felt so satisfying. Holding my degree, I knew that I worked hard for it and I never gave up on it. My goal was to be a journalist, so even though I'm not working in that field right now, I use my communication degree every day at TheDream.Us. I'm the one who sends all the emails, creates the graphics and the videos. I manage our Instagram and I'll post on Twitter too. And as you know, I post a lot in our Facebook community. So even though you may not be in your dream job right out of college, you can still put your degree to use every day. That same year, I made the choice to marry my partner, even though my parents did not approve. They would say, if I married another undocumented person, how was I going to get American citizenship? But I chose to live for me, not for my status. I chose to be happy with my husband. Then together, we made another choice. This year, we left the United States to permanently live in Canada. Again, I left my family in Georgia, not knowing when I'll be able to see them again. But I know that this choice will put me in a much better place in the future where I don't have to live a life of restrictions. I've always had the drive and the motivation to make something of myself. What I learned over time is this. I no longer want to sit and wait for things to happen for me. I want to go out there and make them happen for myself. Even though I was operating under limits for a really long time, almost 20 years, I was still able to make choices that cut the chains and set myself free. Sometimes it seems like there's a lot out of our control, that others are making the choices for us, like our parents, our boss, or the US government. But always know that you have the power to make something happen for you today that will pay off for you in the future, even if that future is unclear right now. Documented or not, you can make choices to define yourself and not let others define you. So I invite you to choose for yourself. I'm not saying that leaving America is the right path for everyone, but I want you to choose happiness and joy for yourself and for your family wherever you choose to build your life. With our newfound freedom, my husband and I want to give back to the immigrant community by sharing uplifting stories of what immigrants can accomplish regardless of their status. We've started a podcast show called Above Status. You can find it on Luminary, Apple, Spotify, and Google, or on our website, abovestatus.org. Please subscribe for more stories of triumph like mine and to follow our journey in Canada. My last message is this. I've been supported by countless people all the way from Georgia to DC, and of course with TheDream.Us. Even though I made the choices, they all helped me to get to where I am today. So I want you to lean on your supports and your supporters that you have at your college, and remember, there are many people available to help you on campus and at TheDream.Us. So please take advantage. Make your own choices that will make you happy. Thank you.